Welcome to the Mindset for Success show, where we will talk about success in different ways and give you practical tips to achieve and cultivate success in every area of your life. Come, join us and learn from our guests what success is all about. For more information, follow us at an amazing conversation with Dr. Mauro Echeverry. And Mauro, tell me something. What do you think are your habits to be able to be successful in life?
So I recognize that is the result of a combination of factors, including like hard work, obviously. We always talk about that. Perseverance is key. The support of others and my faith. So another habit is continuous learning. I embrace new opportunities to expand my knowledge and the capacity of my brain and skills, whether through reading from good sources. We're so used to just reading something on Instagram, what says in there. We don't go, what is the source of that? We don't go to other sources to find out. But reading from good sources, attending seminars, seeking mentorship, might be a spiritual mentorship. And personally, I haven't stopped. As a matter of fact, I received a doctorate degree last year. Before that, I knew a lot. But those years in the doctorate program changed my approach to knowledge even further. I also believe that in maintaining a positive mindset and surrounding myself with supportive and like-minded individuals is crucial.
It's crucial.
One thing that we mentioned before is I also aim to give back and make a positive impact whenever possible. I have been blessed, as I mentioned, to land and made my way up to executive positions in well-known companies, as I say, like Louis Vuitton, Swarovski, ADT, and some of them. And what I've been doing after that is sharing those experiences with the smaller companies, as well teaching at MBA. So there's a circle of things. In order for you to get money, you have to invest money. You don't win the lottery if you don't buy the lottery, right? If you don't make an investment, you don't get a return. If you learn it to yourself and you hold it to yourself, then that's it. You get stuck to that, and your brain is gonna get frozen. So if you share that knowledge, then you expand your brain in order to get more. So it is fantastic when I had the chance to teach individuals that they didn't understand about a strategy. I'm moving in. What is a strategy? What is tactic? What is finance, and how can we see in a different way? What is a brand versus what is sale? What is marketing? All of these things, being able to explain people in an easier way is part of the habits of giving back.
Excellent. You said so many things that are, but as you say, is a combination of different aspects that make the whole. And that's, Satonia, tell me, what are your habits to be successful?
My habits, they change by the day.
Yeah, very good. Because we are not the same every day. Some days we need certain things, other days we need something else. But more or less, what is it that you say, I know that this helped me to be centered, to move forward?
Without a shadow of a doubt, it is acknowledging my Creator and acknowledging that I'm a child of God. And there are times when I may beat myself up a little bit because some days I can spend more time doing that and reading and to strengthen myself and meditate, to quiet myself. And it makes a difference on how you start your day. So there are times when, wake up early in the morning. The silence is it's like, it's a vibration that you can feel. And so those are times when ideas come to me, when I'm left to my thoughts to contemplate things that I could have done better the day before. And just really relish in silence. We have so much with technology and social media, with phones, and I enjoy, communicating with people and making those connections. But I do value the silence, and so beyond a shadow of a doubt, every single day, I am, even if it's just for a few minutes. There are times where if I have the time and I could spend an hour, like I literally just what they would say in the old black church, I steal away, and I take that time. But even the days when I don't, if it's 60 seconds, 5 minutes, I take that time to acknowledge my Creator.
I think that moment of silence when you connect with yourself and you do your inner reflection is a way to connect with the Creator and to absorb that energy, that guidance, that faith, that trust, that everything will be okay. And then you are good to go. You're ready. You don't need anything else. You just need it to now, with that faith and trust, just move forward.
And to find ways to do it throughout the day. So sometimes driving in the car, I may not put on any music, or after arriving back home, I don't know what it is, but I may sit in the car for like 15 minutes and just be quiet,
Yeah, and that's perfect. That's
Yes.
perfect because that's a way for you to center yourself, to be able to be present for whatever you have at home, at work, or in any other area of your life.
And get a little sunshine, Sometimes we are cooped up, whether it's in the office and we're not getting that vitamin D, which everybody has some sort of vitamin D deficiency. Yeah. And people don't really talk about the value of getting sun exposure. It's not just about getting natural dose of vitamin D, but it impacts your mood.
Yeah, the energy of the sun is amazing.
There are studies that speak to people that work like a graveyard shift, meaning the late shift, and they don't have the ability to be out in the sun, how depression affects them. And so sometimes I think we say things as like cliche or like little nuggets, but we need to take that extra step to understand why. The same thing with people talking about protein. It's not just about having protein. Your body naturally turns that protein into different hormones. I don't know if I'm going to.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect because
into different hormones that impact how you feel on a day-to-day
totally
basis.
Because that's knowing yourself. That's awareness about what you really need, and not only follow the masses of what they say, but understanding for you having those 10-15 minutes of sunshine change your life. So why not? Yeah, exactly. Welcome back to Mindset for Success. Today we are having a conversation with Coach Jen. So Jen, tell me something. When we talk about success, do you have any habit, any routine that help you to get there?
Absolutely. So what works for me is getting very clear on my priorities. As someone that is still an educator, life coach, business coach, like I wear a lot of different hats. And because I operate at such a high level in anything that I do, it can be a bit daunting. Because you're trying, when you operate in a spirit of excellence, you try to operate in a spirit of excellence in everything, right? And that can get a little difficult. So one thing that I always do every 3 months, right? So every quarter, I will sit down and what's the focus for these next 3 months? Because the focus changes. Some it's business, some it's education, sometimes it's relationships. So the focus changes at times.
Okay.
So getting super laser focused on what your priorities are is one thing that helps, right? You get your priorities. So boom, let's say these next 3 months, I'm focusing on my business growth. So then I create an outline of what that looks like, the steps that I need to take to get from my current reality to my preferred reality. And then once you have your roadmap, then you just put in the actual steps that you need to take. And then making sure that you have people around you that are experts or geniuses in areas that you fall short, right? So, for instance, I am a spiritual healer, but I always lean on God, only on my spiritual coach, right? Because I know there are certain areas that I'm not an expert at. So instead of me wasting my time on an area that's outside of my zone of genius, I make sure I lock arms with someone who has my shortcomings in their zone of genius.
Excellent. It seems like one step, but you do a lot of things. First, the most important is what is your priority? And I think that a lot of people have a challenge with that most of the times, because we live in such a fast-paced environment that sometimes you don't even know what is your priority. So you are in survival mode. So what do you do to understand what is your priority for those 3 months? How is your process to get there?
So, of course, first thing is the downloads that I get through my meditation, right? Like we say that, but we really do mean it, right? So spending that time with God to get the clarity, because there has been seasons where I thought this was my focus, and through my meditation, God was like, that's not it, right? So just really leaning in to God and my soul to get clarity, because at the end of the day, I don't look for information outside of me, right? So, but that doesn't mean I don't take information from people, because I want to clear that up, right? So when you are in alignment, God is going to strategically put the pieces that you need around you, right? So outside of me asking God and then waiting for him to send the messengers, that's pretty much how I decide what I should focus on and what feels right. Right? Like we have to start to listen to our body. It's not coincidental that someone can call your phone and now your stomach hurts, right? Or you get antsy, or you get so just listening to your body to see, because if it feels right within, then 9 out of 10 times it is right.
Excellent. Thank you very much for all that information. I think that is super helpful. And one thing that you said there, that is the priorities will change. And we need to be flexible about it, because sometimes, it's like, no, but this is my priority. I'm supposed to do this, but all the signs are telling you to go in another way, but you are like, no, this is my priority. So I really appreciate what you explained, because is that ability that this is my priority, but I'm flexible too. It depends what is happening. I have the ability to choose and to adjust. So that's amazing. So then after you have your priority, you say, okay, I make an outline of how this will look like for me, right? It's kind of setting your goals, correct?
Correct.
And then once you have your goals, then you go smaller, right? Like what I'm supposed to do to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of the goal setting for you. That's what is helping you to be successful. And once you have the small things that you need to do, right? Your activities, how you make sure that those will get accomplished?
So I always, every single year, I'm looking for the perfect agenda, the perfect calendar, right? The perfect book to sort my life, and I never find it, right? Like I never find it, I never get what I want. So I created like my own Excel spreadsheet, right?
Excellent.
So I have an Excel spreadsheet. And for people who are like, oh my goodness, I don't know Excel, you can do this in Microsoft Word. It doesn't matter what platform. But I have an Excel spreadsheet that accounts for every single minute of the day. Because if you're anything like me, if it's not in my calendar, it is not a thing.
It's not happening.
Right?
Yeah, I'm like that too.
Right? Right. So I make sure that I have in my calendar everything that I need to do. So for instance, my program, I abbreviated MILB, right? More income, less burnout. So that is on my calendar every single night. I don't work on it every single day, but usually 3-4 times out the week, I have a block of time that I make sure I sit down. I work for 25 minutes, stop the timer, break for 5 minutes. Another 25 minutes straight, timer, break for 5 minutes. And I just knock out all the tasks that I have to do. Because I know for me, once I put it in my calendar, it is a thing that I will most likely commit to.
Yeah. So in short, the calendar is one of your keys to success, because once you have it there, you know that it's part of your plan, you know that it's important for you, and you just make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very good. So the invitation is to try, use the calendar and see how it goes. Energetically speaking, I always explain to my clients is that when you say, this is really important for me, I invite them to go back and look the couple of past weeks, their calendar. Is that you said that is so important for you somewhere in the calendar? They say no. Okay, so that's not important for you. Yeah, because if it's important for you, it will be there, and nobody will make you not do it. Like, if you have kids, you have to pick up the kids. No matter what is happening, you are picking up your kids because that's your responsibility, and it's there, and that cannot be changed no matter what. So same thing has to be with other priorities in your life. So try it. It's amazing. At the beginning, it's a little bit like, it's a self-check, because sometimes you say yes, and then you say, no, I'm not really doing what I said that I'm going to do. But every day is a new opportunity to start, correct?
Right.
Today, we're having a conversation with Caroline Velasquez. She's a formulator. And Caroline, tell me something. In your day-to-day activities, do you have any habits to build on your success?
Oh, of course. That's big. I think one of my biggest habits is time management. Because besides having my business, that's that's kind of my side business. I do have a full-time job.
Okay.
And I'm a mom and I'm a wife. So it's that balance of time management between my business, my family, my friends. So for me, that's very important, how I manage my time. So I rely a lot on planning and organizing my schedule. Planning my fairs. I normally do fairs and markets in the community, Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach. And these are seasonal fairs, so I have to plan ahead. So I have to be very organized with my time, my schedules, in order to make sure that I get everything done, and then I don't put too much energy on one thing and not on other things, right? So I don't just work, and have time and balance with my family and my friends. I also provide a lot of my network. For example, you kind of been instrumental for me, because I do see you at least once a month, and you are coaching. That really helps me put everything, ground me. You ground me, new ideas, ideas. So that is also huge for me. My meditations are also very important, because they do keep me emotionally stable, energized. So I think all those little things combined does help me continue to do what I do, because it's not, it's not just one thing, it's many things happening at the same time.
Yeah. I want to ask you, when you say time management, what are the specific, what do you use? Do you use a calendar? How do you manage your time? Because that's a big question. Many people say, okay, you say time management, but what does that mean? Give me a clue. How do you do that? So I'm curious about how you do it, to see if other people can benefit from that.
Well, I do have so my husband tried to give me an online agenda, but that didn't work for me.
Okay.
I'm an old school person. I have to write things down. So I have an agenda, and I have a calendar, and I write down my important dates. If I'm working on a new formula, I put a timeline. How long is it going to take me to come up with the formula? I set aside time to research the ingredients. So I always try to do at least 2 hours a day of research, where I'm looking for ingredients. I also have to look for, packaging and things like that. So that takes a lot of time. So I designate a certain amount of time a day to do that. I also write down deadlines for the markets that I'm going to apply for. So I keep that all in the calendar. So it's a little bit of calendar, and taking the time aside for certain things. So I know this time is for this time is for doing formula, this time is to be for actually packaging and things like that. So there are time slots.
It's very good that you say that you are kind of the old school, because sometimes people think that everybody has to be on technology to be able to be successful. If for you works paper, go for it, use paper, because sometimes people is more visual, you need to have it there, you have to hold it, you have to be able to to use it in different ways. So it's very good that you understand that, and you embrace it, and you say, this is it, I just need pen and paper, please. This is the best way for me. So that's very good. Now, the other thing is that what happened, because that happened to all of us, right? You have your, let's say, your list of tasks or something that you want to do today, and suddenly it didn't happen because life happens, and then you got busy, or maybe it took you longer than what you expected. You say, oh, I'm gonna only 1 hour to look for this package, and then you notice that you spend like 3, and then the other things got a little bit delayed. How do you manage that? You move it to the next day? How do you encourage yourself to keep going?
Yeah, I do have a priority list. So I prioritize, I put things that have highest priority on the top, and I make sure that those things get done first. And then things that have a lower priority, if they don't get done on that day, it's not a big deal because I know they're not in the high priority list.
Good.
So that's another way that I can manage what I have to do is what needs to be done within the next 1 to 2 days, what needs to be done within the next week, what needs to be done within the next month. And that's how I work myself through the different things that I have to do.
Very important, because sometimes that's what is missing, the priority, because it's easy to get done the small things, that sometimes keep you busy, but they don't help you to move forward towards your dreams, right? So having that priority list put you, your eyes into the success. It's important to be able to be consistent, because sometimes you say, I want to do it, but you go the other way around. What keeps you in that, focus of what you want?
Yeah, I like that. Well, I would say, of course, create a diagram of where you see yourself going, right? If you don't have a plan, what do you say? Plan to fail, fail to plan, that old saying. So you actually have to diagram and map out where you see yourself going, but also give yourself some leniency. Unfortunately, a lot of us are so hard on ourselves, we don't give ourselves any wiggle room.
Yeah. So you're so strict that, of course, you're going to get out because you cannot deal with that.
There you go. So the minute you are, quote unquote, inconsistent, now you're dropping the hammer on yourself, and now you've set yourself 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And so I think the consistency objective comes from you. What do you believe to be consistent? Right? If you don't have to work out every day. Did you get 2 or 3 workouts in this week? That's consistent, right? And so you can make up rules for yourself to give yourself small wins. And unfortunately, we'll give ourselves a loss quicker than we will a win.
Yes. I love what you said, that you make your own rules.
Yeah.
That's super important, because sometimes we go with the rules of somebody else, and then you see people going to the gym every day, multiple times, and they say, oh, I cannot do that, and you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah.
But if you make your own rule, you start working on it, and then
especially social media. During the pandemic, everyone was they made it seem like if you didn't start a business or write a book, you were a failure, right? And you don't have an LLC yet,
exactly what's happening.
So there's a lot of pressure. And that's the one thing that I like to teach, especially the kids. Don't fall into that pressure. And I have 2 8-year-old kids, Sebastian and my lovely daughter Cameron, and I try to teach them do not succumb to the pressure of the outside world, because you'll just be, going straight down to what everyone else is doing and won't even ask why, right? That's the unfortunate part, is that most people won't even question.
They just follow without questioning, even if it's good for me. Yeah. It's something that goes with my purpose and my belief, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that also to be able to be constant is that, as you said at the beginning, you have to find a purpose. Because if you know, this is my purpose, this is the reason why behind I'm doing exercise and taking care of myself and learning this, it's easy for you to be,
it's not that
keep
hard.
walking, right?
There you go.
Forward,
a lot of people go in there just aimlessly. Oh, why am I even here? What am I even doing here? This is, what's the point? And so once you start talking like that, as we know,
you have to change.
The body keeps the score. So if you're going to continue to talk to ourselves, they say, they did a study that said almost 80% of our self-talk is negative, right? You can't do this. You'll never look like her. You'll never look like him. And so this comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
And so we're comparing ourselves to everyone else's lives, and it's really draining us of what we have going on.
And I believe that we should focus within
Yeah.
to be able to be great.
Yes.
And to show that greatness, because all of us, we have something so special to show that is important to. Thanks for watching the Mindset for Success show. Join us every Thursday at 11 a.m. to learn how to master your mind and achieve success in every area of your life.